Okay, I think we're recording now. Okay, so I see some other people joined.
Yes, hello.
Hiro from Panasonic.
Hello, Kitoka-san.
Yep. Hello.
How are you?
Good. Thank you.
Hello, it's Sibin from Costain.
Hi, Sibin. Welcome.
Thank you.
So on this side, we have also...
I'm here, Billy.
Hi, Willie.
Hi, everyone.
Yeah, and Per is here for the first time of all these meetings.
Can you hear us well?
Yeah, very clearly.
Okay, good. Thank you. Okay, I can see some other people. Can you present yourself?
Yeah, we've also got Patrick joining in from Costain, one of my colleagues here. He's joining in for the first time.
Thank you for joining. Okay, and where's you from Daha? Okay.
Hi, sorry everyone. It's Adler from Hikvision.
Hello, Adler. How are
Just
you?
my I'm good. Just my app was blocked, so
Okay.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh, I am Ottavio Campana. It's the first time that I joined.
Hello, Ottavio. How are you?
Well, tired because it's vacation now, so I have to take care of both the children. It's easier to be at the office.
Yeah, of course. Okay, thank you for joining. It's nice to hear from you again.
Yes.
Hello guys, this is Hugh from Doha.
Hello, you. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Okay.
Hi, this is Patrick from Costain.
Hello, Patrick.
Hi.
Thank you for joining. Okay, so I guess we'll start with the agenda. So we have a draft agenda. Do you have anything to add to the agenda?
Not by now.
But we can't see the agenda on the screen.
Okay. So what can you see exactly on the screen now?
I see nothing. You can't see anything. Okay. Yeah, I can see
Okay,
the agenda. Yeah.
good.
Thank you.
So is there any other topics you'd like to add to the agenda? Okay, then we'll go with this agenda for now, and you can add things as we go on. So the first topic is the naming of the project. So we had a poll that Willie launched 2 weeks ago.
Yes. And it actually, most votes went to Unimatrix and SOPSA. We have a draw between those two. So we just started using Unimatrix as a project name. So unless anybody disagrees, we continue to use that as a project name. And if we need to change later on, that's possible. If we need to have something that's able to register as a trademark or something. But for now, I think it's good to use this as a project name.
Yeah, so we actually registered the name on GitLab. So we decided on using GitLab over GitHub because GitLab is it's more independent. GitHub is owned by Microsoft, and GitLab also has a little bit more features when it comes to DevOps and things like that. So it seemed like a nice platform. So I went ahead and registered the name there. And so far, we have 2 projects there. One is presentations, the other one is meetings. So I just added there the last meeting agenda. We have some more meeting agendas to add there, but and minutes and things. So I will send like an invitation to everyone to join this group. It's a group called Unimatrix, and under this group name, you can add projects. So right now we have only these projects, and I'll add some more projects to build the reference platform as we go on. Are there any comments on this? So I'll send you will basically get an email invitation. If you have not already registered to GitLab, you have a chance to register your user there, and then you can join the project. So it's an open group. Anybody can actually add themselves. And then we have sub projects under the group. So that's how it's organized right now. And probably, I don't know if you know anything about GitLab, but they have different price models. So right now we have like using a free, it doesn't cost anything, but probably we want to use a bit more advanced model. So there will be like a monthly cost that we need funding. So that's something to discuss in Hong Kong, I guess.
Yeah, up to now, I think it's quite few costs. We're having this Zoom account, and we will discuss that further when we meet. Because the whole idea is only to cover the exact cost we have for tools and like the GitLab thing.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I will probably send out the invitations today, so you can register your user and add yourself to the project, and then you can check the minutes of meeting and so on. All right, if there's no comments on that part. So the next point is the development platform.
Unimatrix.
So previous meeting, we decided to use the Raspberry Pi 4. This platform is quite new. So I had problem finding any good distribution that we can use, because I want to use the 64-bit architecture. And if you take something like Raspbian or Debian or something like that, all of them is built for 32 bits. So I actually built from scratch my own distribution using Open Embedded. So I will. My idea is to put the things you need to build on this GitLab project. It's a couple of open embedded layers that you need. So yeah.
So let me understand. Do you plan to open source the layers?
Yeah.
Oh, that's really nice.
Yes. So you would be able to build everything. Also, I played around a little bit with the different layers. There's a couple of layers for building Docker and things like that, but I don't know if you know about this meta virtualization, which contains a lot of virtualization, also container stuff, but it's not really well maintained in my eyes. I don't know if you have any better idea.
Well, the other possibility is to work with Buildroot, which has support for Docker engine and so on.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what you think that could be better.
My idea was basically to take the stuff we need from meta virtualization and put it in our own layer, and then we just build what we need. And another idea is to use something like Balena OS, but they have some layers, but then they depend. I think they have they depend on Docker, for example. You need to build Docker on your own and put on your. So they don't really solve the whole use case we need.
I think we could try and work with Yocto. And should we find this problem, we could try to fall back on Buildroot.
Yeah. Okay. So I will make it go for using meta virtualization, but probably it's going to build a lot of things we don't actually need. So, which is, I guess it's okay. We can optimize. So anyway, I hope I can do that before I'm going on a conference next week. So I hope I can get that out on the open source, on the GitLab this week. Are there any comments on the development platform? Any other ideas on how we can build stuff, or are you fine with using Yocto? Okay. So I hope to get that done this week, and then you can probably next conference call you can have a chance to build stuff before that. So the next item is the steering group and the charter.
Yeah. So the idea is that we said we will be starting not a steering group, but a sort of a governance group in the same outline that Linux Foundation proposes. And we have drafted a charter, which we have sent off for legal review. And I expect to get that like a week before we meet in Hong Kong. And then when we meet in Hong Kong, we will review that. And hopefully we can all agree at that point and then send it to Linux Foundation for approval. It's relatively basic. It doesn't describe that much in detail. So I think if we get a steering group or a governance group together, we can assign some other groups within the project to produce a little bit more detailed specifications we will be achieving.
Do you think we should put it on the GitLab site before Hong Kong meeting so people have a chance to review it?
We can, but I would like just waiting to receive it from legal reviewing, and once I get it back from legal, then we can put it on the GitLab.
So on the GitLab we have two repositories now. So one is private, so that one will be only for people that have joined the project, and the other one is open. So I guess we can put it on the private one.
Yes. So I've agreed with the it's actually Lindholz that we have used for OnRIF as well, so they're quite familiar with the scope of things. And I've instructed them to have this done by minimum a week in advance, because we probably need some iterations before we agree with them. Is that okay?
Yes. So Per, just to have an idea, what is the effort required for people taking part to the steering group?
I don't think we have detailed that yet, really. But the idea is that the steering group or the governance group should consist of members that actually contribute. So to earn a seat in the steering group, you need to be a contributing member.
Okay, but what I'm saying is the following. So we have Davide that is taking part to the contributing sessions. So if you look for people taking part to the steering group, I may be interested, but I really would like to have an idea on how much the effort is expected to be, because before offering, I want to be able to be sure that I can do what we promise.
Yes, I do understand that, but I think maybe it's a little bit too early yet to say exactly what is required. We will try to detail that.
But I mean, it's more than taking part in the telcos. So it's actually contributing development resources to contribute on the project. So that would be, contributing on the source code and on like the container layers and so on, or with budget, I guess, with contributing for the running of GitLab and so on.
But I think what you mean, Ottavio, is that how much will be required for you to participate in the steering.
Yes, exactly. That's the question, Per.
Yeah. I guess maybe now in the startup phase, as the proposed charter is laid out, where a little bit of more technical detail will be sort of described by the engineers, is for the steering group to review that and approve that to proceed. So, but let me think about it. I can't really say if it's a few hours a month, or if it's enough to have a telco every 2 weeks initially, or if it's needed to be an hour every week or something. I don't know.
No, okay. I was more than that. I was scared about the fact of how often are we expected to meet face to face, because for me, once a year is good. Twice a year could be acceptable. More than twice a year in this phase of my life is tough. So that was my biggest concern.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that we when we started to discuss this, we did not foresee an organizer similar to like OnRIF. We more based this on the concept of an open source meeting where people keep continuous contact through web conferences and that type of media. So we did not anticipate to have that many physical meetings, actually. And for now, we have proposed meetings in conjunction with the OnRIF meetings, and can't really see if we should continue to do that, if it doesn't cause a problem for any members or not. I don't know.
I think another idea is to co-host with Linux Foundation. So when there is like a conference like Open Source Summit or Embedded Linux, we could have like meetings on those occasions.
Yeah, maybe this is typically also a task that we have to discuss and agree on how often do we actually do need to meet physically.
So okay, so Per, the message is we as Videotech have Davide taking part very often to the activities. This week he's on vacation, as everybody else in my company. So not a problem. For he will follow the technical discussion, and if you need people on the technical committee, I'm on the steering platform. Excuse me, steering group. Then I may offer my time if it is not that much.
Are you planning to go to the OMIF meeting in Hong Kong?
No, Hong Kong, no. I may Rome since we're hosting.
Okay. So that could be an option then if have people coming to Rome and it's not the full face-to-face meetings, maybe we can meet at the for example. But I'll keep you in the loop because we have other individuals who wants to know exactly how this develops and how much sort of contribution is required from a steering committee point of view.
Okay.
Good. So I will post the charter once I receive it from legal review, and then we can look at it and then we discuss when we meet in Hong Kong. Or for those that do not participate can feedback to us, and we will bring that into the discussion in Hong Kong. Okay?
And you expect that next week or next week after that or something?
Oops, where are we now in date? 41. I think, no, a week, end of next week maybe.
So next call is on the 28th, before the 28th.
Hopefully, I can actually circle back to Lindals and ask them where they are with this. I don't anticipate it to be too much, so maybe they can give me a better date for this. Okay, we'll keep you posted on the development of that.
All right. Are there any comments about the charter or organization of steering committee and so on?
Not from us. I think we'll see how it progresses.
Okay.
We just want to be more clear what kind of stuff we from our side, from Hungarian side, we can contribute, we can do, or we need to go more deeper when we will be in Hong Kong, or.
Yes, I think at this point, I mean, we want to launch this, so we have a common platform which we can start with, which is this Raspberry plus like a minimal firmware that has a Docker engine and the basic things you need to run containers. Plus, I mean, I guess the next step for me would be to start to discuss, what common container layers we want to maintain. So I see like stuff like TensorFlow Lite. We want to have a version that runs on the platform we're choosing. What other things? The APIs that we need to get video into the container, to do inference from the container and produce some kind of metadata or events or whatever from a container. So those details is my idea about what we need to discuss in Hong Kong on the technical side. The basic APIs to get, you know, a video analytics application running in a container to produce some kind of metadata.
Frederick?
Yes.
I think we should start a little bit earlier. I mean, first, before doing what you say, I think we should clearly state what our device model is. Because when we were discussing in ONVIF, there was an implicit model that was defined by that standard. But here we are not. We are not giving ONVIF for granted. So we need to clearly state what our model is and how it is expected to work. At least at the macro.
Well, I see the model is not, it's very different from ONVIF because this is not really a device client kind of model at all. So this could be running, I mean, this container could be running in the cloud or it could be running in a device. But yeah, I mean, we already, last time we already discussed about, we need a use case, some use cases which, you know, where we should focus. So we need, I agree, we need more high level discussion first, and then maybe go into technical discussion.
Yes, also because the way I interpretate the proposal of Unimatrix is not only on the camera side, but also on the software side. So we implicitly make some assumptions. The software runs on the cloud. It's a local VMS that somehow orchestrates the algorithms, whatever. So I think we must give at least an overview of how we think from a high level point of view, how the whole Unimatrix is going to work.
Yeah, I agree. So I think we should start with that in Hong Kong, the high level use cases and high level architecture. I guess we're sliding into the next part, which is the agenda for the Hong Kong meeting. So we already have use cases, API discussion. Yeah, the charter, I guess. I think last time we said we're going to have two separate tracks. One will be technical and one will be more governance. So from the Hike Vision side, maybe we need two separate meeting rooms during the Hong Kong meeting.
Yeah, I will check, and I don't know. When can we confirm all the participants for Hong Kong meeting?
Yeah, I don't know. We need some kind of registration for the meeting. So somebody has to look into that. You can do self-registration.
Or we can just send an Outlook invite.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll send an invite on Outlook for the Hong Kong meet, and everybody who will attend will accept.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or maybe, and also we might consider to have possibilities to connect via Zoom if you can't be in Hong Kong, if you want to listen in.
Yes, I'd like to.
Yeah.
Look forward to the session.
So maybe first we need like a common session, because I think some discussions maybe which all of us should, like the use cases and things like that, and then maybe we can separate for the technical stuff and the governance.
Yep.
So yeah, I think we should put together a more detailed agenda before the next telco. So. And then we'll send out this Outlook invitation so we know how many people are joining. Are there any comments on the agenda or the meeting in Hong Kong?
So question is my question is how long the will take meeting?
I think we plan for a full day, so I think Adler, you plan for the whole day, right? From 9 till 5.
Okay.
Yeah, that's true. May I ask just one interesting question? Regarding to on-with meeting, do you guys receive some traffic alert based on current situation over there?
Not from Sweden, but I read that some countries have issued alerts, like US and Australia. So
we are governed by the foreign office here in Axis, the Swedish foreign office, and there are no restrictions. Just avoid meeting places. That's what it says.
Yeah, it's the same for the UK. That's the advice in UK as well.
Yeah, and Julie from OnWIF, from GI, she has been in contact with the hotel, and they run different type of conferences constantly, and they are capable of providing all the services in-house. So if it's a little bit of an issue outside the hotel, we have the possibility to stay inside. They say it's safe. They don't see any concern. Of course, they might be a little bit biased because they hold the booking, but that's at least what they said.
So I guess it could be transportation problems.
It could be a transportation, but so far, I mean, the airport is an issue, but I think they will reroute the place to nearby.
I heard lots of flights are cancelled recently, and yeah, I don't know if that will cause any potential issue for all the participants coming from everywhere, from every country, and I don't know. I hope everything will be.
I probably should have some extra time for some consequences.
Yeah.
So we're traveling in a bit earlier.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. I think that's all we had for today, actually. So we have some action points on Axis side for next time. So I'll send out the invitations to join this group, and hopefully I can get the layers so you can actually build something. And then we'll send out the Outlook invitation to join the Hong Kong meeting. We'll prepare the agenda for the Hong Kong meeting, so we can discuss that more in detail next time.
And we will put the charter.
Yeah, the charter
on GitLab as soon as we receive it back.
All right. Is there anything else that you'd like to discuss today, or we can end a bit early?
Frederick, if you have 5 minutes, we could talk a little bit so that I can fill the gap that I had from the previous meetings. So if you have 5 minutes so that I can align myself with the current state at the end of the call.
Okay, yeah. Any other comments? Okay,
No
then
comment on my side.
thank you very much for joining, and we'll talk in 2 weeks.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Will you stay on, Ottavio, or will you dial in, or?
No, I'm still here. I'm still here. So
Okay.
just to understand a few things. So you said you want to publish a couple of layers for Yocto, which is totally fine for us as well. The thing that I am not going to understand very well is what will be, let's say, the level of functions that will be provided by these two layers. I mean, are you just going to export two layers so that you can compile Docker inside, or are you also thinking about publishing some source code, for example, something that takes a snapshot from a camera connected to the Pi and is then wrapped in some kind of process control so that it does not consume all the CPU and so on, and then it streams data back somehow? So what's the level of the detail you want to implement in the two layers that you are going to publish?
Well, first, it will be like just using whatever is there, but in the long term, we are considering to publish an inference engine to kind of so you can run inference on like the TensorFlow serving API, but interfacing whatever hardware you have underneath. So at this point we have the Raspberry Pi, but you could, so it will be like an inference engine which is layered, so you can replace the lower part with another backend if you're using, let's say, OpenVINO or another machine learning engine.
Okay.
So that part will probably gonna open source from Axis side.
Mm-hmm.
We also have other parts, like our idea right now is to, for getting video into the container, is to use OpenCV, but
okay.
So we need, like, OpenCV is a huge library, so we need probably to fork it, or so we use only part of it for the parts that we need, which is basically right now the capture API.
Okay. And what about the client side? I mean, this orchestration thing should be somehow managed by a VMS.
Yes, but it doesn't have to be VMS. I mean, it could be at this point, we haven't decided on orchestration. So at this point, for deployment of these containers, we suggest to start with only using Containerd, the Containerd's gRPC API for deployment. And then if you want something fancy for orchestration, you can actually run on top of that. So you could run Kubernetes or Docker Compose or something in on top of that API. So the low-level API that we want to focus on right now is only Containerd API.
Okay, I understand now your goal. Okay.
But I mean, in the long term, of course, there's so many things, nice things with running Kubernetes. So probably, but it's going to be an optional. It's not going to be something that is required of every device, because Kubernetes is so huge, so you know, a lot of devices will never be able to run that thing.
No, yes, but my vision is that how to say, maybe you have different algorithms that in different containers, and based on alarms, metadata, whatever that you have in the VMS, you want to turn a camera from a function into another one.
Yes.
So in this way, you should turn on and off containers. But I don't know if this is a too far vision.
I think it's good to have a vision, but for right now, the API we're focusing are more the low-level APIs. So it's not really orchestration at this point. It's like deployment.
Handling of containers, yes.
Yes. So
Okay.
you could actually run. You don't even have to support containers. I mean, we used container as a format to package the thing, but you don't actually have to run it as a container.
Okay.
So I mean, you could use any. You could just unpack it and run it as whatever, or you could use a more sophisticated virtualization if you want to do that. But we don't put any requirements on how you run it.
Okay, because that was another question that was in my list. So you said you want to exploit Raspberry Pi 4 because it is 64 bits. Okay, but there is still a plenty of things that is shipped with 32 bits. So I was scared if what was the level of the targeting. But okay. Another question. This is more technical. So container D, if I correctly remember, it's written in Go. Am I correct?
Yes.
So Go is compiled the language, right?
Yes.
So eventually, what are the dependencies at runtime? Because I'm wondering if how is this thing going to increase the size of the whole system? Based on your experience, once you compile containerd, is it like a regular binary, or do you have to have additional libraries or environments, whatever?
Well, normally Go is always compiled statically, so it's that's why the binary is quite big. So if you take run C, for example, it's 10 megabytes. Containerd, that's probably around 20-25 megabytes. So it's quite, and so they don't use a common runtime, at least on ARM. I think it's possible to do that on Intel, but on ARM, basically they don't share any common libraries. Normally it's compiled into static binaries or everything.
Okay. Oh, wow. 20 megabytes, it's a lot for a binary.
It's quite big, yes.
Yes. I'm asking because I had a bad experience a few months ago. I was trying to do some experiment on my own, and I was thinking about compiling a JavaScript engine like SpiderMonkey for cameras, just to propose eventually a possible common language, because JavaScript, you can compile C to run on top of that, so it could have been very, very nice also for performance. So I started trying to compile V8 from Google, which is really, really ugly. It's not something that you can just download the source code and compile it. It's really a mess because you need to download from Google the tools to download the source, and then it does a lot of tricks. So it's everything but linear for compiling. And the other one that I checked was a SpiderMonkey, and this SpiderMonkey was half C and half Rust, and the Rust compiler has so many restrictions, so that was also very painful. So when I saw Go, I was a little bit upset about the number of compatible platforms.
Yeah, I mean, Go is it's made for cloud from the start, so it's still, but I think it's still getting smaller. So I mean, this is not really intended for embedded use from the start, but things are progressing. I know I mean, Docker is working a lot on containerd because they also see this use case of embedded to make it possible to run on our type of devices. So I think things are happening quite fast, actually.
Okay, I will study on that and let you have feedback.
There is I mean, Docker has 2 editions. There's the community edition, and then they have the
enterprise.
Yeah, so that one is more optimized for some reason. So it's smaller. Yeah, then you pay a lot. But
okay. So okay, I will study. I will check a little bit things here and there, and then I will provide you feedback. I sent already the invitation for accessing the Unimatrix project. So I think we are done. Please keep me in the loop.
Sure.
I try to do my best to take part to the calls, because I see a lot of opportunities in this idea, and not only for cameras.
That's great.
Yes.
That's exactly. We see a lot. I mean, the interest should be bigger than OnWith. So, I mean, the intention is to have more different kind of companies involved in this also.
Well, from Costain's perspective, we were in parallel. Our embedded team were investigating the use of Docker containers on our embedded systems, and I just happened to mention this to Jeff, and he said he invited me to this group because of that.
That's great. So, what are your experiences with the size of stuff?
So it's still early days, but I should point out that Yocto and Open Embedded do make a distinction between compile time dependencies and runtime dependencies, and a lot of the dependencies are compile time. So all the Go libraries. So I'm not too concerned, but it is worth having that on the radar. So just in case.
Yeah, if your device is already challenged when it comes to flash and RAM, you know, putting containerd there it's going to tip it over. So yeah, from our side, it's more for future products, I guess, than because running. I mean, containerd is one thing, but if you want the whole Docker daemon and everything, it's quite huge. And then on top of that, Kubernetes is enormous.
Yes, we also have the same problem. Our current architecture will not support it. So I am pretty confident the future architectures will, but the current one that we have, in my opinion, is far too small.
Yeah.
Just to give you a last feedback, you know that we work with Yocto. We have been discussing about that so many times in the evening, drinking beers.
Yeah.
So I am doing investigation nowadays on the build route, because build route is faster, easier to use, and still we are starting to think to switch from Yocto to build. It's easier to expand.
Well, you're welcome to contribute on that. But just to get something started that we can, you know, use together, I think we can just launch this open embedded stuff to start with.
Yes, and then I will see what's there, and then I will try to understand if we can replicate it.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Ottavio.
Okay. See you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Come cazzo si chiude sta roba?
Mica sostengo,